Hello my crafty friends, Corrine here from Corrine Crafts. I hope you are well. I wanted to show you this really pretty card that I'm going to show you how to make today. Look at this. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Look at all of that dimension. Now I've made this as a Mother's Day card because here in the UK we have Mother's Day coming up in about 8 weeks time. I know in the US it is a little bit longer to that, but I'm sure you can save this video if you wanted to. But this card would look lovely as an anniversary card. It would look lovely as a birthday card, wedding card, however you want to change it. Just change your sentiment and change the colours. We've taken one simple die, we've cut it 5 times, we've snipped into it, we've extended it, we've added a bit of colour, and look at what we've achieved. I hope you like this. I'm really pleased with this, and I'm going to show you now how I made it. Well, I have really dug deep into my craft stash today, and I found 2 dies that I don't think I've ever used on this channel before. So I just thought I'd have a go with these today. Now I wanted to make a wreath again, a different wreath to what I've done before. Now this one actually isn't really needed, but I love it. I love it with the circles and the bubble effects. So I'm actually just almost using it as the base of my wreath to give me some size. But you'll notice how this wreath is quite a lot smaller. But don't worry, we're going to make it work. So what I want to do first is I'm going to cut out this wreath first, and it's just regular cardstock. So I've not gone with my full about 310 up to 350 GSM. This is about a 250, and I just think it's enough to cut that out. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to cut it out from there. And when that's cut out, this is what you get. I just wanted, there's no point in seeing that, it's just I had to poke all the little bits out. And then the other thing I've done is I've cut this one out, but you'll see I've already started to ink it. And I've also used a little leaf die. Well, it's a double leaf die. It's like a melded leaf die, and I cut out 4 pairs, so I've got 8 leaves in total. But again, I've started to put a little bit of ink on there. So I wanted to do this because I've actually just bought myself a grip mat from Hunky Dory. Now it comes with a plastic sheet on that side, and it's also got a plastic sheet on that side. So I can, oh, if I can peel that one off. I haven't actually peeled that one off yet. Look at that. So it will grip to my worktop, and it says, oh, let me move these out of the way. You can grip it down to your worktop, and it tells you that it will hold cardstock, paper and mask and stencils in place without the need of tape, and it sticks to your work surface and easily peels away after use, and it can be reused time and time again. But for now, I don't think I need, why is that curled up? Is it this piece, that piece doing that? There we go. I don't think I need to stick it down for what I'm about to do. But I found this really useful for when I was inking these, because what I can do is I can press that down, and then I can press another one down, and then when I get my inks out, I've just got 2 inks. I've got Pink Tulip and Spring Meadow, and when I get my inks and I want to ink on, look, they don't move around in the same way. They stick to the craft mat, which is really useful. And I can do the same with this, so I can just press it down onto the sticky mat. Now it's decided not to stick, and then I can come in with my ink, and then it will just hold down on there. So I'm not inking it all, but it's just like another surface for inking onto. But that's now stuck nicely, and it stops everything from moving around, which is really useful. So then I can peel everything off, and it just wiped clean, which is so handy. So let me just move that out of the way. So I've got my wreath, and as I showed you, I've already cut out this one, and I've done that with the pink. So I've just gone over with a bit of pink on there. But when you put this on top of here, they don't fit very well. So all I've done is I've just trimmed, and I don't know which way around these go now. I've just trimmed into my wreaths. I've literally cut them in half, but I've tried to cut them in half in different places so that they're not all the same. Well, that one must go on there. Oops. So we've got that. So I've now got 2 pinks, 2 cut up greens and a whole green as well, and we'll cut that one up if we need it. So I need a card base to put this onto, and I've just got a regular piece of card, and it's 5 1/4 inches wide. So I'm going to get my sophisticated paint station with a nice new piece of cardstock in paper towel inside there, and then I need my splatter mat. There we go, just a piece of like mylar, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to put some pink down. Now sometimes you might need to go a little bit of a darker shade, so you might want to put a little bit of a darker green in with your spring meadow, and maybe some, that's pink tulips, so some fuchsia in with that. Is entirely up to you. I'm just going to get some water. I'm going to get a paintbrush, and then oops, turn the paintbrush the right way up. I'm just going to wet that, you see on there, lift that up there, and then I'm just going to give it a little bit of a splat just to give me some green speckles. I don't want too much on the back of there. Oh, that's nice. Bigger blobs. I'm not using watercolour card because I'm not wetting it enough to make it need that. And then the pink, the more you mix in, the better the pigment. I can feel it coming back on my hand. Just like that. There's so little on this, I don't have to worry about drying it between colours. Normally, you know, we always dry between colours, but this isn't going to do any harm because these are pretty dry reasonably quickly. And that's all I'm going to do to my background. I'm not going to do anything else at all. So we can see on there all I've got. Look at that, isn't that pretty? Hopefully you can see that. I can see that nice and clearly. There we are, nice little splattered background. So I've actually got one that's properly dry because it's going to be easier to work with, and you can see it's exactly the same. So let me just move that out of the way. Now, just so you know, if I was making a box for this card, I'd probably put that on the top because I've got a spare one. That's how I tend to use those up, so nothing goes to waste. And then I've got my card base, pre-bought 6-inch card base. I have quite a lot of those. And look at this for a really nice, look at that. Look how well that matches with Spring Meadow. This lovely lime green. And again, it's another one I probably should have taken the centre out, and I'll probably regret it afterwards. If you wanted to, you could cut the centre out, and you could actually cut one of your wreaths out of this. That would look really, really nice. So let's just put a little bit of glue on. It's always good to make sure you go right to the corners because that's the bit that lifts. And then that's going to go on first. There we are. And then I'm going to mount that. So this was 5 1/4, and this is just shy of 5 1/2 inches. And I'm going to put that onto there. So let's put that one that way around. You'll notice that I vary the order in which I raise them. So, and again, you don't need to raise them if you don't want to. And I made this a square, and then actually afterwards I thought to myself, this one really probably would have looked really nice as a rectangle, because you'll see in a minute when I put the sentiment on, I have to really push the wreath upwards quite a bit. So if you wanted to sort of centre it a bit more, then maybe consider making it a rectangle. So I was thinking, what could this card be used for? These colours are so fresh and vibrant. It could work for so many occasions. So it's spring, hopefully soon here in the UK. You could find, you know, it would be perfect for that. But I was thinking Mother's Day, Easter, any of those sorts of occasions it would work for with these sort of colours. But it wouldn't take much to change the colours. This would be brilliant as Christmas. You could put, I'm going to put those leaves in, you could make them a lot more Christmassy leaves if you wanted to. You know, it wouldn't be a hard one to adapt at all. So yeah, use it, make it work for you. And then, oh my goodness me, that's 2 cards in quick succession where I've cut off exactly the right amount of foam tape. I'll be getting a reputation here for being able to know how much foam tape I need. I've just pulled my pin out of my pokey tool. There we are. So yeah, so maybe I thought, I know in America it's not Mother's Day, you don't have Mother's Day till June, but here in the UK for us Mother's Day is March, and as I post my cards abroad for my mum, I obviously need a little bit longer. So yeah, so you know, you could bookmark this if you're in America or wherever and you don't celebrate Mother's Day for a few months, and it might give you some ideas. But like I say, I think it's going to work on so many occasions, but I just love the vibrancy and the green. So yeah, so we can put that on here. Now there we go, you can see, as I mentioned, I'm going to do Mother's Day. So I've just got one of my stamps. It's the only stamp I've got that I'm aware of that has Mother's Day written on it. So I didn't have a lot of choice, although I could have just typed something out on the printer, you know, on my computer at home. I'm not going to stick it down, but I just want to place it for a minute so that I can see. And then onto there, I'm going to get the bubble wreath. And you can see I can still fit it on quite nicely. Actually, this gives me a chance to use a product from Sticks 2 that I was sent recently that I've not used yet. These are micro adhesive dots. So Sticks 2 sent me these because I was wanting something. So if you don't have tape pens, these work really, really well. So I've not even opened the packet yet. This is the first time of using them. So you pull that apart, and can you see that side is clear? And can you see that side has got dots on? So all I do, I'm going to take that off. And then all I do is I can't do it in one go. So I'm going to pop that down, and where it touches, it'll pick up the dots. So it works very similar basis to how your dotty tape pen works. Come on, Corrine. I'm going to put that cover sheet back over the top, which I've dropped. That's better. Just needed a bit of a better burnish. There we go. And this sheet will be able to be used lots of times because you can see there's still lots of glue left on there. Let me move that out of the way. And then this now, there it is. Put that back on. And then I can bring in my card. And let's put this back on. There we go. I can see how dotty that is on the back. So that's going to go there. And then this. Oh, I can feel that grabbing already. That's grabbing really, really well. So we can then just put that. I just want to show you, look at that. So look at how well that stuck down. You can't always see the dots, but I could certainly feel those. Isn't that pretty? I do think that works. I don't need that in the way now. And then I'm going to start building up my wreath. So as I said, I've cut it into bits. So that was originally one. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put them on. So I thought I'll do some of the lower layers with foam pads just to add a little bit of dimension. So I'm just going to pop a few foam pads in strategic places where they're not going to be seen. But remember, this is the bottom layer, so it's not something that you really need to worry about too much because it's going to be covered up quite a lot. Let's get this one. Like I say, you'll hide all these workings anyway by all the layers that you do on top. But I just thought if I do some foam pads at the bottom, foam pads are a bit firmer than a regular glue. Just your micro. Right, don't worry that one's going to be visible. I'm not concerned about that at this point. So we can then... I'm not going to separate them out a lot, but I'm just going... Do you find that happens with small foam pads? Small foam pads are the hardest ones to get the backs off, I always think. They're harder than bigger ones. There we go. We're getting there now. We're on a rhythm. Okay, so this should go like that. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to stretch it out a little bit. So I'm going to bring it out bit more in keeping with the wreath at the bottom. And I'm going to do the same with this one. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit in keeping with the bit at the bottom. There we go. Don't worry about the gaps. Then I'm going to come in with the pink ones. Let's find a matching pair for them. Pink. Oh, that's pink. And I'm going to do, actually I'll do it with glue gel this time. And then we're going to go, I just thought the pink and the green would just give it a little bit of a lift. And then that one. You see straight away, you look at that already, you can't see the joins, can you? Let's go back in with the green one. This really works with the height, doesn't it? And let's try and do the joins in different places. And I made sure I cut them in different places as well, just so that they weren't all the same. Look at that wreath. Isn't that gorgeous? I could just do it a little bit more and put the top, I think. Now just remember, where you've got wet glue, it's just going to take a little bit longer to cure. Now I want this bit up at the top because that's where I'm a little bit lighter. Ah, that's better. And I think I might just trim that off. There, that's better. And this one, put that one. Look at that. Look at the dimension. Right, so before I go any further, I'm going to grab some of these little leaves that I've done, and I'm going to pop some of these on. And I'm going to pop some of these. Isn't this pretty? I just love the colours. It's so fresh and vibrant. Okay, seem to be missing one, but that's not the end of the world. We can just use what we've got. Odd numbers do look better anyway, she tells herself, trying to justify it. Put that one there. And again, wet glue is really helpful because it just gives you that manoeuvrability. Although the only other thing is it just means you need a little bit longer for things to cure. But if you wanted to, you could do these things, you know, layers with a gap in between, you know, let things dry off a little bit more if you wanted to. Let's just come in here. Don't worry about these being a bit too prominent. I haven't got my last layer on yet, have I? Yeah, it's over there. I lost it then for a minute. Now, if you don't want to do flower, leaves, foliage, you could. This could be little flowers, but if it was little flowers, I'd do it on the last layer. There you go. Right. So what I'm going to do this. I'm just going to get this one. I'm just going to just give it a little bit, break it down a little bit, give it a little bit of texture. Oh, not too much, Corrine. And then I want to put that on at the top. A little bit of wet glue on, and then that looks so much better for there. Captures all those leaves underneath, doesn't it? Really, really brings them together. Now, the only other thing I wanted to do is I'm going to show you on here. Oops. So the other thing I did was I cut out this die, and it's from one of my old signature collections, but any sort of foliage that you have, but I like this because it's got the circles. And then all I did was I got some Nuvo drops. I've got myself a nice new bottle recently because I was running low, and I just put a Nuvo drop on the end of each one. Again, it was just for adding texture. I wanted to keep it white. I didn't want to add colour on this layer. Oops, I've gone a bit too heavy-handed there. But you can just see on there. So you then just need to leave that to dry. Actually, that one, and what I'm going to, I don't like that. I'm going to take that off. Take that off all those three and do that again. Don't rush, Corrine, just for the sake of it, otherwise I wouldn't be able to use this again. Put that on. I went a little bit too much and they touched each other. There you go. There we are, that's better. Wow. Well, don't ruin it just for the sake of it. There we are. So you've got those. So just leave those to dry. And I left mine to dry overnight. And I've got a whole bunch of these just here. Now, I think I'm going to have to trim into these. I think they're going to be too big as is. So I've got some there. I think I've dropped some as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim in to a couple. And then again, I'm going to pop some wet glue on. And I'm just going to pop those through there. Again, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. You don't have to do any of it, do you? But I'm just sort of trying to give you ideas and inspiration. So a simple wreath die soon becomes absolutely beautiful and full of detail just by using multiples, just by building up the layers, just by adding in. How gorgeous is this? So I'm going to do the same again. Put it down there, trim off that bit, and then trim off there. Let's put a little bit of wet glue on there. You could trim this one into half as well, quite easily. Pop it through the layers. Try and make it lie flat. It will definitely looks better for lying flat. And then I'm going to come in with this one. And again, you really do need those Nuvo drops to have dried. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard to handle. The only other way you could do it is if you didn't have time for the Nuvo drops to dry like that, is to put them in place and then put the Nuvo drops on. But then obviously you run the risk of the Nuvo drops going on to different bits of your card that you don't want it to, onto your wreath. So yeah, you've got choices. There's always choices. There we go. Oops, that's a bit sticky up. A bit frog's eyes, aren't they? Which isn't really the look I was after, but I think they work. There we are. Just want another one there. Let's cut myself a small one just to go there. Put a little bit of wet glue on. Just there. There we go. Let's glue that one down. How about that? Isn't that the most gorgeous wreath? So we've made it bigger, we've given it texture, we've given it dimension, we've given it colour. I'm really pleased with that. Just want to stretch it up a little bit. There we go. How about that? Isn't that absolutely beautiful? So now I can come in with my sentiment. I'm going to use these tweezers. This is quite big. I think I need a little bit of foam tape on this because that would be an awful lot of 3D glue to use on there, wouldn't it? So we can then take that off. Again, if you find it easier, put yourself some wet glue on the back of here. There you go. Isn't that absolutely good? Now, I was looking at this and I was thinking I need some gems. So I was having a look at what I could find in the right colour. So I could find those. Actually, I've got that green or that pink, or I could find those greens. Now that green's not right, but that pink's pretty, just the small ones, or these greens. Or I could come in with some white Nuvo drops to match that. Part of me's thinking the white Nuvo drops, because then otherwise I'm adding in another dimension. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I hope I've picked the right choice, but I'm just thinking if I add in different gems, it's like another another one for this, almost like for the sake of it, isn't it? There we go. Now, if it was a new home card, you could put a little house ornament in there. If it was a Valentine's card, you could put a little heart in there. It's entirely up to you. But I just think that is super pretty. And that is all I'm going to do for now, because that is what I was seeing in my mind's eye of how I wanted this to go. I wanted to take a basic wreath, just this, and see if I could really enhance it. And I think I have. I've made it look so much more voluptuous. I could have actually I did think about maybe putting some sisal behind, but I didn't. I don't know why, because I thought about it yesterday and I've slept since then. Maybe it's simple as that. But yes, how about that? Lots and lots more you could be doing to it, lots and lots less you could be doing to it. It's up to you. You craft it how works for you. So I hope you like that. And again, I'd love to see anything that you make. So please don't forget to click on any of the links, and then the least you could do, please could you click on the like button to like this video. It really helps to push my channel out if you can do that. And as always, I'll put a link to some videos on this side and a link to my subscribe on that side. But until next time, who knows what the next video will be? I don't know myself yet. But until then, you take care, my friends. Enjoy your crafting, and I hope you'll come back and see the next video. Bye for now.